Right. Okay. So I think we have some 18 people. So I think I shall start the meeting by welcoming everybody from different parts of the world. And it's evening here, but it's good morning and good afternoon in Europe and USA. Well, today, we are very lucky again to have FIAP sponsoring this meeting again. And today, the theme of this meeting is to be the registration markings of Hong Kong and the treaty ports in China and Japan. So I know that several people have prepared material to show. So I know that Richard has done some research on the registration rates. Is it after 1877, right?
Yep.
Yes, and Sam's got a few things to show, and Nick, I have actually got your very nice piece, so I could actually show it on the screen. And Ian's got some very nice research that he would like to show. But actually, as introduction, if I may, I wish to be the first to present something. Now, if I can actually share my file, if I just do this. Okay. Right. Okay, right, good. Right, okay. There you go. Oops. Ah, there it is. Right. Okay, I'm going to start off with giving you a little bit of history. Although I'm not really as a very good historian as Richard or Sam, but actually I did some study this afternoon when I was less busy. So can you see this?
No.
No.
Ah, you can't see anything. Right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. All right. Okay. Yes. Now you can. Okay.
Nope.
Huh? Still?
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Okay. Hong Kong registration fees, 1857 to 1876. Just to tie in with Richard's what Richard's going to say. Okay. So now with the establishment of the Hong Kong Post in the 1840s, there was no registration service, and all the merchants, although that they had some very important letters and commercial information, they couldn't actually send it by registered mail to anywhere, and so they actually rely on sending, as you probably know, several letters by different ships. So you've got some, for example, some duplicate letters, even triplicate letters, etc. All of the similar contents and sent by different ships to ensure that whoever's the recipient will get the mail or the message they were sending. And some of them usually about commercial information like the price of cotton or silk, or a lot of them to France about even wine, like price of champagne, etc. But anyhow, I actually went into the Gazette, the Hong Kong Government Gazette today, and then found out that was the first mentioning of registration fee was published on April 11th, 1857. And you can see that just purely with the view of providing increased security during their transmission through the post, letters of importance or letters containing valuables, they decided to introduce into the colonies a system of registration. And if you look at, and actually this registration systems actually not only apply to British colonies, but also foreign countries too. And of course, it was expensive. And you are talking about a lot of money, like sixpence was a fee. They call it a fee and not the rate, because the registration fee is actually a fee. Okay, it's a standard fee, whether it's a double letter or triple letter, it's still the same. Okay, so they had a table. If you go into the Gazette, it's extremely complicated. I mean, if you look at it, to the British colony like Bahamas, Grenada, Jamaica, etc., it was sixpence per item. Then to other countries, if you look at this, other countries like Turkey, Syria, or Turin, Salonika, and the German states, an additional amount exactly equal to the amount of postage, British and foreign. So, and then of course some other countries, it was 9pence. And then for some reason, you know, like places like Baden and Bavaria, it was 9pence. It is so complicated that, you know, and there are some of the destinations you probably never get any mail to anyway at that time, in 1857. So, I mean, the one day was very little used. And so to my knowledge, I've never actually seen any stampless letters, stampless registered letters with any either hand stamp or a manuscript marking at paying the additional fees. So later, with the issuance of the Hong Kong stamps, you start having this standard table to other countries. You know, this is very well known. This is the postage rates to all different countries from in the Hong Kong government Gazette of 7th March 1863. So much simplified. So you don't have different rates to different, either you can send it registered or you can't send it by registered. And then of course, you've got this here, the letters for England, Australia, and India sent by contract packet, meaning well, usually contract packets means the P&O, or later on it's a French packet, can be registered for a fee of 6pence. It's still quite a lot of money. And the letters to USA, of course, is 1 shilling, and that is 24 cents. You can see here, letters for England, etc., fee at that like that. Okay, so that's 1863, and then of course the letters have to be prepaid to be registered. Okay, then interestingly, on 18th of December 1860, there were some hand stamps sent to Hong Kong from London. And this is actually a page from the London GPO proof book. It was a photocopy, of course, at that time. And I don't know whether they still have the original, or what you actually now find in the Postal Museum is actually is the original. The original has been destroyed and it's still photocopy. And that was the copy that I took about many years ago. So, right, okay. So you can see from this there are different markings. Of course, these are very familiar. The Anglo-French accountancy markings for letters, for printed matter, and then of course you get the PD and PP, and then there's 2 hand stamp, registered hand stamp, and I think all of them were made of probably brass or whatever, metal. I don't think it's rubber. But now the problem is an eminent postal historian, Geoffrey Bourne, actually has given a lecture about this all these markings, where were they? I mean, we never actually find any of these on Hong Kong mail. He believed they were wrongly sent to India and never returned, and India just took it and believing it's theirs, and then they were never returned. So what happened? They were again sent again, and later in April, 18th of April, the London GPO sent another set to Hong Kong, and then there you are, you got 2 registered hand stamps. Having said that, I have yet to see a cover bearing these 2 registered markings. Although amongst the British Commonwealth countries, you do. I mean, for example, Australia's, they have these registered letters with a similar hand stamp, but not for Hong Kong. And you know, I have been looking for one for I mean many years. I think that I mean it's just not there. Why? I don't know why. But maybe it's still very expensive. People just don't want to send anything registered. And anyhow, so next on 18th of December, 1861, there was another set actually sent to Shanghai, and obviously most of you would be familiar with the Shanghai paid CDS and the Shanghai date stamp, and there's a registered, and then there's a too late mark being sent out. And this, I believe, I can't see very clearly, is probably a brass seal of some sort for mail bags. So Shanghai's got its share. Other countries, for example, treaty ports could also have similar things, but you know, the London proof book is not complete. I mean, there must be pages missing because there are a lot of hand stamps they're just simply not there. It doesn't mean that they were made locally. It just means maybe somebody nicked the page. Anyway, so far for the archive. And then later on, in October 1869, another gazette, another post office notification was published. And then it says the fee for registration is 8 cents each letter. So it has been reduced from 6pence, which is 12 cents to 8 cents for each letter. So this is it's quite an important notice, and it's a reduction of the registration fee. Perhaps that they're trying to encourage people to send letters by registered mail. And indeed, the earliest known letter is the earliest known registered letters with the 8pence fee was in 1869. Interestingly, if you look at this one, which was in I think the Ishikawa sale, if you look at the date, it's actually May 1869, whereas the official government gazette notice was October. You see, which is this cover. This cover is October 1869. So this is officially the earliest known registered letter paying the 8 cent registration fee, and it's actually from the same person. If you look at it, it's the same person, Peg, again, right? So I think there are maybe two or three more from the same correspondence also. I think this is from the David Davis auction in 1997, I believe, in Stanley Gibbons. And the other one was in Eddie Lawrence collection, which was sold by Cavendish. And there's another one. I think that there's maybe about 3 of this kind, all around 1869. But just this is very interesting. But why you could have something before, before the government notification? You see, whether there could be a stamp missing, I don't know. But the rate is correct. 1 shilling, 1 shilling 4. It's 32 cents. So this is actually, if sent by via Southampton, it would be a 24 cents rate plus 8 cent rate. But this is a bit of mystery. I believe this cover is in Harman's collection, I think. Anyway, he might.
Andrew.
Yes.
Sorry to butt in, but rather than come back later, okay. I think this May 69 cover is okay, because I may be wrong here, so please correctly. But I think that the notice you just showed was for the commencement of registration services at the treaty ports, and that the 8 cents in Hong Kong was already in force. But I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's the case.
Okay. So let me look. Yes, it just feels a bit strange that you could have something well before that date. But anyway, I'll do. It was a bit of a rush job this afternoon, but I'll check again. Anyhow, so this is actually this oval registration marking is a standard type, not only issued in Hong Kong and it issued in most treaty ports as well. And there are already some known from, but it's one known from Amoy and one from Foochow and Canton, etc. Very few of them exist, but highly desirable. Anyhow, so next is the circular R, which actually replaced. This is much later. This is after Hong Kong has joined the UPU, and why you have the R? Maybe is it? But Richard will tell us that maybe this is the standard marking for UPU, because some use different types of marking. For example, this is from Macau with Registrada, and you know, this is the first. Actually, this is according to Proud. According to Proud, this is actually the earliest recorded circular R, at first in red. But later on, it becomes black, turns into black. And this is actually the earliest recorded date, according to Gurridge. It's also a very interesting cover, which I'll come to later. Right, and then after the circular R, you've got this funny thing, which was, I think, one known, very late date, March 21st, 99. One would have thought, oh, might be a forgery. It could be, not sure about, but it is actually used as a registration cachet rather than actually a date stamp. But this is just one of a kind, and it looks quite, looks quite okay if you compare that mark with this one. But why was it used so late? I have no idea. There was certainly before the Hong Kong has the, what's it, the label? They must have the Hong Kong China label. So this is just a one of a kind. I think this is the date recorded by Proud. Anyway, so next we have another page from the post office, the GPO proof book, with sending all the circular registered markings with a long sidebar. And there were 6 of them were sent on 21st of June. And then later on, and these are quite common, but actually to find all the different types, the minor differences, you do need to be very quite careful and lucky to obtain all the different types on cover. So later on, they sent another page with another 6, and there's December. They sent another 6 of them amongst a bag of Victoria, Hong Kong cancels, and some brass seals. Okay, I think that's just a brief introduction of the registration service, and then would Richard like to continue?
Sure. Mine is much less comprehensive than yours. So. Okay, let's see if I can share screen.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, still okay?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the emphasis here is on a short summary. So that should have been in larger letters than the rest. So very briefly, then Andrew has already dealt, thankfully, with the pre-Postal Union or UPU matters. As he said, they're very, very complicated, and the amount of time that I had to spend on this, I accepted defeat very quickly and stayed with everything after the UPU. As Andrew said, the registration became available in Hong Kong in April '57. And my understanding, as I mentioned just a little bit earlier, is that the service was extended to post offices, British post offices in China and Japan in October '69. And the notice that he showed is in the bottom right-hand corner of this one, along with an early cover, which was in Spink sale in 2007 from Shanghai. But associated with registration was another facility, which was sometimes called double registration, and but should be, if my French is correct, avis de reception, and advice of receipt. And this was allowed people to find out when their correspondence was received. And this also had a fee per item, not independent of weight or anything like that. And this service was introduced in Hong Kong on the 1st of April 1879 and was extended to local and branch of British offices, excuse me, at the beginning of 1882. So that's basically the explanation of it. And then just for reference, I've taken the registration fees and AR fees for the 120 years from the UPU start through until the British handed over postal matters to People's Republic of China in 1997. So I've done this in a number of slides. So to start off with, let me see if I can get rid of that. To start with, then the 8 cents per item applied to UPU countries and local. By local, I mean in Hong Kong, colony of Hong Kong, and Canton and Macau. It was also available at that time in the British offices in China. So wherever I mention local, specifically, then please also Canton and Macau. And then the previous complex fees continued for non-UPU countries until September '77, when they got themselves a bit more organized. The 8 cents continued, and then most of the non-UPU countries were 12 cents registration fee. Then, as I mentioned, in April '79, advice of receipt came in, and this was only applicable to UPU countries. And 8 cents continued, and then changed up to 10 cents and 5 cents and so on. There's various adjustments. Moving on through, I should say, I'll just go back. I think up until the 10 cents, so up until 1880, I'm reasonably confident about the dates, and much more so after 1880, just purely, to be honest, a matter of time. I haven't spent much time yesterday in doing the 77 to 80, but hopefully it's not too far. Sorry. Then running through the rest of the pre-World War II items, then there was an attempt to make it cheaper to register items to go to the UK as opposed to everywhere else, but that was very short, quite short-lived. And then it all went back to 10 cents again. And the AR fees remained at 5 cents through until 1898, when the 10 cents plus 10 cents came in. And then gradually it went up, not by that much, through until the Japanese occupation in December 1941. After the war, initially there was no registration service, and it only came back in on the 24th of October 1945 at 25 cents per item. I'm not sure, to be honest, whether there was an advice of receipt facility then, but certainly at the beginning of April 48, then there was a 30 cents registration with AR30, and so on and so on. And then things started to get much more expensive in the 70s, until at the end of June 1997, it was $13 for both registration and AR. Well, that's it from me. So I'm mainly here to learn from others. So I will stop sharing now. If anybody wants this information, then I'm quite happy to send it directly to them. If I get a request to do so. So that's it.
Right, thank you, Richard. Interestingly, the last actually now the registration fee now is $15.50, but you remember the last one you showed was $13, and Hong Kong had never has a $13 stamp ever. But I think when I was in the Stamp Advisory Committee, I was saying that why didn't they produce a kind of registration stamp? So just like for example, like the USA, you have a special stamp for registration fee, which then, of course, if you want to raise the registration fee every 5 years, you don't have to produce another stamp. So and I think they accepted my advice, and then they produced a $13 stamp. And then obviously now it's $15.50, and they produce another stamp with $15.50, just to save people sticking all kinds of different stamps on the letter to send it by registration post. But that's just just be on the side, really. Okay. Anyhow, okay. So who's next? I think Ian, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Okay. You want to say something?
Yeah, following up on Richard, and I'm not quite sure how to share screens, so I hope this works. On the website chinaoverprints.com, I've tracked so far 3 AR receipts from Shanghai, and I'll try and let me see if I can show it. Where is it? There you go. Can you all see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, I have images of this one, and then I can go back. There's basically, as far as I know, there's 3 of these. That's not the right one. Sorry. 3 of these. And this one, which is slightly smaller. And I read in a catalog that there was one dated September 13th. And I wonder if anyone else has seen more of these, because they're kind of cool, in my opinion. Sorry again. I apologize. Darn. I'm hopeless at this, so you'll have to excuse me. Sorry, then the other, there it is, the AR receipt, which is kind of cool. Then the other markings are the AR markings, which also, that don't appear to be too many associated with certainly with the China overprints themselves, which is sort of my area of interest. And one of the challenges has been where they were actually applied, because a lot of this stuff went to Hong Kong, I believe, and certain markings were applied there, but this is sort of a work in progress right now. The only other item that I wanted to sort of show was the some research that I'm doing, or I'm trying to gather a census and also information on the rectangular hand stamps used from 1917 to 1930. The challenge on this is, as Andrew was saying, a lot of the records were destroyed in a fire many years ago. So the actual proof books are incomplete, held by the Postal Museum in London. And I've been trying to get over there to actually see what they have. But a lot of the rectangular hand stamps appear to have been sent at some point in 1907. And certainly I got some information, I believe it was from Chris Norton, about its usage, certainly from Hoi Hao in 1908. As I say, my particular area of interest is those that are associated with the China overprint. And so far, this is my sort of internal census and a listing of the earliest and latest known uses. And what I'm hoping, obviously, is to expand upon this information. So anyone who has info, please, I would welcome learning more about this. And that's about it for that, I'm afraid.
Ian. Ian.
Yes, sir.
You want me to show your list, or you want to keep it?
Yes, sir. I'm not sure if people can see that on my screen right now.
Yeah. You have this list of earliest and latest dates of these hand stamps.
Right. Yeah, along with the number I've recorded so far on cover. A lot of these have been gleaned from auction catalogs where there weren't pictures. So that's one of the great challenges, obviously, is getting images of all of this material. Other problems have been, obviously, that some of this has been destroyed over the years. Yeah. So what I've been trying to do over the years is gather information from various disparate sources to put together, a decent census and a decent list of information. And I'm more than happy to send this to anyone who wishes to have it. A lot of this information is contained already on the website. Mm-hmm. So that's about it for now.
Okay. Right. Okay. Next, I think Nick Guy, you want to show something?
Hello.
Hi.
If you have it available, can you put it up? It'll probably be less stumbling than if I do.
I certainly can. Let me see where it is. Yeah, I think that's it. Okay, I want to do that.
I've got it if you've not got it to hand.
I got it.
Yeah. Let me see. So I don't often have material to show on these occasions. My Hong Kong's not that good, but this item I thought
I think it's a brilliant piece. I think it's a brilliant piece. Let's see. Let me see. Right, where is it?
That's coming then.
Right. Let me see.
Right.
Can you see it? Oh.
It's working, and it's working on it.
Yeah. Right. Okay, it's coming.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. There you go.
So yeah, so this is one item, and I have to say I'm not confident about the writer. The first thing to say is that it is only a front. I'm not going to say unfortunately, because if it was a full cover, I suspect whoever it was dropped it in the gash box at Stanley Gibbons might actually have looked twice at it. And if they'd looked twice at it, they might have realized what it was actually worth, which would have been a great deal more than I could have afforded then, and probably more than I could afford now. So it's a registered cover by airmail from Hong Kong, properly paid, 147 per half, sorry, 135 per, yeah, 147 total per half ounce, and 20 cents registration fee. However, it was postmarked registered GPO Hong Kong 30th November 1932 in red. And that's, of course, where it gets really rather interesting, because that belongs to that beginning period of the Air Orient airmail service, with mail being taken down by sea to Saigon, and the Hong Kong Post Office had decided it wanted to have distinctive postmarks. While they were waiting for them, they used regular postmarks but struck them in red. Webb's booklet on the airmails only lists an ordinary GPO postmark and ordinary postmarks for Kowloon. Schoenfeld, though, records the use of the registration GPO mark in red, and he references its announcement in Hong Kong Bulletin, sorry, the Study Circle Bulletin 196, which is sometime back in the 70s. I have never actually looked that up, and I really ought to, I suppose. So it is scarce, it is unusual. Also, just to sort of finish the story, it is, it's doubtful. I'm not as happy about ascribing which Air Orient flight it went on. If it went on, it was posted on the 30th of November. It could have got down to Saigon for the 3rd of December dispatch, but there wasn't actually a Messagerie Maritime sailing for that, so it would have had to go down on a convenient ship. The next service it could have gone on was the 10th of December. Now, my original understanding from reading around was that the flights were taking about 12 days, which would have meant that it didn't get to Europe till after this cover arrived at Bletchley on the 20th of December. But in fact, looking at Proud, if you rely on Proud's timetables, which in is Intercontinental Airmail's books, not booklets, but doorstops. They are taking about 9 days, or 8 or 9 days, in which case it probably went on the 10th of December flight, which rather suggests, in fact, there was not a convenient sailing, but for the 3rd of December flight. But I really don't know about that. If anybody's got any comments, I'd be delighted to hear them. So there you are.
Nick, there was a sailing on the 6th of December on the Aramis, and that connected with the Air Orient flight on the 11th of December.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Which would fit in.
Yeah, it's probably that.
There isn't one before. The previous one was the 29th of November on a La Plata Maru ship. The Aramis sailed.
So this would have missed it. So it would be the Aramis that it went on. You think?
It must have been if it's got a Bletchley 20th. Yes.
Yeah. Well, the Bletchley 20th is the best postmark on there. The GPO is readable under a glass. I've tried to enlarge it, but I would agree it's not a brilliant postmark, but between the three of them, I can make out the date.
Yeah, Nick, Richard here. I actually have studied the red cancel markings, and I have actually logged all of the flights and all of the sailings from Hong Kong to Saigon and Hanoi. So I don't have it immediately to hand, but I think Duncan gave you the information there. With regard to the red registered one, then there are a number of these.
Yeah, I know there are more than this, but yeah, it's not very well known. Let's put it that way.
You are right.
Desirable, very desirable. Yes. Okay.
Very nice.
Anybody got any comments? No? Okay. So I think Susan's got a few things to share, right, Susan?
Yes, I have.
Yes. So if I just stop this, yes.
Share screen.
Yeah. Right.
And slideshow. And hang on. Slideshow from the beginning. Right. Hello, everyone. I'm showing registered mail from the GPO. 1904, 1905.
Wow.
Ming Sang, in his book, shows 4 registration labels in use between the periods 1899 and 1904. And I'm focusing on the 4th one, type HKD. I have 4 examples to show on cover. When I came to look at them, I found that the 4 labels were all different. Ming Sang doesn't show any different subtypes, but I thought you might be interested in these, and it would be interesting to know if other people have come across these variations. The biggest difference, the second one down in this table, the capital R is much different to the other 3. The other differences are the spacing of the letters. The A in China in the top one is to the left of the O above it. In the second one down, it's directly below the O. In the third one, it's to the right of the O. And in the bottom one, the HO is below the other letters.
Yes.
And the horizontal dividing line is not horizontal, it's sloping down to the right.
Very interesting.
This is the first of my examples. It's just a cover to England, 4 cents for the Empire rate, 10 cents registration fee. This shows the A to the left of the O. This is an Edward VII postal station registered envelope, again to England, and this shows the example of the A directly below the O, and the strange letter R. This is an item sent to the States. It's a 2 cents postal stationery envelope that's been uprated to 20 cents. So you've got 10 cents registration fee and 10 cents for the UPU letter rate. And this has the A to the right of the O. This item to France, to Paris, is a double weight item, franc 30 cents. And this one has the strange lettering HO very low, the A slightly to the left, and the line that's not parallel to the top and bottom here.
Very good.
What's particularly interesting about this one, it's its date. Ming Sang says that this label was in use until November 1904, but this cover is dated the 20th of December. This shows the date, DE 2004. So it extends the period of usage of this registration label. And finally, I'm including this item. It was posted the following month, January 1905. It's to Finland, another double weight item. Nice that it comes from the General Post Office, Hong Kong. This example has the small registration hand stamp and not the Hong Kong registration label. And it's dated the 18th of January 1905. So it's the same as Proud's earliest recorded date of usage. And if I enlarge it, it can just about make out the 1, the 8, JA and 05. Yeah. So it would appear that between the 20th of December 1904 and the 18th of January 1905, the Post Office changed from using the registration label and used the registration hand stamp instead.
Very interesting.
That brings me to the end of that little display.
Very interesting. Very interesting, Susan.
The question is, why?
Yeah, why?
Why did they stop using labels?
Too expensive to produce?
Well,
too many used, I would think.
Yes. Any hypothesis?
My own opinion is that they continually ran out or nearly ran out of these things, and the number of registered letters, if you look through the annual reports, sort of exponentially grew in the early 1900s. And so if the problem was such that they must have thought, what's the cheapest and easiest way to get out of this? Just use a hand stamp and put the numbers in again.
Yeah. Well, they must have printed presumably lots of different rolls for there to be all those different little subtypes of printing.
Well, I'm sure they did, Susan, and that adds to the possible explanation, I think, because I'm guessing that the rolls they would have tried to get them through the Crown agents, but there's just no way they could have kept up with the amount of usage. But some of those must have been produced locally.
Yes,
if not all.
That's very interesting, Susan, because although I actually haven't got it to show, but I had two covers actually within your period of labels, 04 and 05, which I always had thought that there was a period where they didn't have any hand stamp. They just had a number on it and paying the registered postage. Perhaps they did actually ran out of the labels and just put a number on it and just let it go, sent it. Very interesting. Thank you, Susan. Yes, very, very interesting. So, anybody got any questions for Susan? No?
I have one quick question. I was talking, Chris Norton had sent me an email, but I was wondering how the numbering system on the registered mail worked. I mean, obviously later on when they started the labels, they were numbered in order. But looking, and again, just looking at the stuff that I have, did they reset the numbers to 1 every month? Does anyone know? Because I'm trying to, I know there's follow-up question to that is, and I think you mentioned this, Richard, where did you get this information on the number of registered letters sent, and where is this found?
You can get you can get that information from the annual reports, Postmaster General annual reports, and you can get those online at the Hong Kong U website, which has all the gazettes and everything. They also have all the reports.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you.
So, but if you have any difficulty, just let me know.
Will do. Thank you.
Going back to your question on the numbers, I had a look at that some time ago, actually, and my conclusion was that everything was totally random. Because you could get covers that were different by a few days with astronomical differences in numbers, and I thought, oh, I think I can put something together explaining all this, and I was, as usual, sadly mistaken.
Yeah, the numbers aren't used in chronological order. Post Second World War, you get some strange numbers that don't fit the chronological order.
Well, it is Charles speaking. I think I have today also with an email with Ian for that. Ian also assume with an assumption that for the treaty ports, it may be using a new number from number 1 at the beginning of the year till the end of December, but may not true. That I cannot have a conclusive saying at that moment of time. I think we need to check port by port. As Richard just mentioning that, well, it may be randomly wishful thinking of the postmaster, post agency. Therefore, I think what Richard recommend to see the annual report will be the number of registered mail sending by that port during the year. And therefore need to check, say example, if it is a register number maybe 50 or 100, that may be happening in the early of that year, okay? Then at around the end of the year, maybe the number increasing to, well, 500 or 300 something. You need to check. And I cannot say, I do not see any detailed studying on this numbering system at that moment in time. I think that is worthwhile to check and study, I think. Thanks.
Can I just ask one point? Do we even have any idea whether at this time, at any time, at a larger office with multiple counters, how many counters would actually accept registered mail? Because if there were more than one counters, they would each say when they were using labels, they'd each have their own set of labels.
Absolutely.
And the numbering would be from 2 different counters would be randomized.
Agree. If it is, I think for the modern time, maybe the label using maybe just one batch allocated to each different counter. But in the old days, when we are talking about the boxed register marking, I think there should be a numbering system that using by maybe just one counter to handle register mail, because at that moment in time, register mail is a priority mail, I can say, first class priority mail. Is of important. The airway, the letter bill need sent together with the mail bag need to enter the number of registered mail sending in that mail bag. Therefore, I think there will be a tight control at the very beginning of time, especially in the 19th century or the early 20th century, I think.
That's right. In fact, there was in the Hong Kong post office, and I think Shanghai, there were separate registration offices. It was completely separate from the public hall, where you would post your day-to-day stuff. And there was a separate head of that department.
Yeah. Okay. So, right, our editor has just said good night to everybody. She probably had an early morning appointment or something. Anyway, good night, Nick. Yeah. Anyway,
Good night.
Since Charles, since you are here, you've got something to say, right?
Sam has something to show, Sam.
Yeah, you got something to show, right?
Sam has something to show also.
Yeah.
Sam?
Well, since you're here.
Hello, Sam.
You want to show first?
Sam?
Whatever you want.
Okay, you go first. You go.
Okay. Okay, so okay, so I guess, can you view?
Yeah.
My screen. Okay, so actually, my little presentation is only 2 covers, and it follows logically after Susan's presentation, because it's exactly after, you know, the labels of the 1899 to 1905, and then the small and large markings. And the reason why I'm showing this is I asked Susan and I asked Richard, and nobody have seen this label. So as Ming called this his E-type, like Susan's was D-type, and this is the first time that the labels doesn't have a China wording on it. So no, just a brief, so Ming called it HKE, but I don't think he has a proper illustration. And if you look at it, you know, his ELD is November 16, 1916. So this is one of the first cover that I have. And take a look at the label. It's printed in black with the stamp on is wording. The stamp on number is actually blue. So, and this is a type A label. So I don't remember when I bought this, but this is more recent, within the past 10 years that I have this. So this is 1916 and it's September 25th. Now, the other cover, this I have owned for 25, 30 years. That was the first one when I saw that triggered my interest in this, because this too was also in black with the blue lettering. But everybody I've asked, nobody was able to give me a third example. So, I mean, within this circle, we should have, I'm sure that somebody's going to pop up and say there's a third, fourth, fifth example. But this is a month later than the date. So Ming didn't have any of this illustration. I have not seen a printing in black. So this is comparing the two. And what stands out is especially the second one, where you take a look at the line and you take a look at the font of the G here. So it is so different. So I don't know. So I'm asking, have anybody seen other examples of this? And what do you think this is? Was this an experimental thing where they use a black ink before they went to the blue ink that continues forever? And I'm negligent in doing my research because I couldn't show you an the earliest of the blue labels, which probably was in 1917, but Ming seems to indicate that there is example on November 1916, but I haven't been able to track that. So it's a request for information. While I was looking at this, I also noticed something that I haven't before is on the sensor label. There seems to be holes punched in. I examined the other half dozen covers that I have sent from Shanghai and Hong Kong, and none of the other ones have. So is this a fluke? Was somebody just putting a hole in there just so they could, put it on a big needle thing to dispense? So 2 questions. Thank you. So I'll go back to the to this one. If you could give me some comment on it. Has anybody seen other ones?
Simon here. In fact, I have an example with that black and white label, and
good.
I have planned to show on one of my slides later.
Good, thank you. What day is it?
October 24th.
Oh, okay. Good. So that's the third one. Thank you. Is that type A or B?
Should be your left one.
Okay, type A. Okay, thank you.
I may have missed this, but a quick question. Where were these labels printed and provided from?
Especially looking at this particular one. Look at how, this looks like a local job.
Yeah.
Look at the lines. This is really, this particular one is much better.
Would be done by the government printers, I think.
Could be, yeah. So were those experimental things or what? I have no idea. So, but somehow this was not adopted, and then from then on is all blue ink label. So
yes, you could call it experimental because it looks so crude.
Yeah, this particular one. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you think, Sam? Do you think that the label, presumably from government printers or whatever in Hong Kong, was just the black bit, and then the blue numbers were actually stamped on separately?
I'm not so sure separately when. So yeah, like you said, this may have. I tried to see because, excuse me, the font may have something to. I was saying not the font, but the perf. But it's really, you take a look at the perf all around. It is, really terrible job. So, it just looks like not necessarily a rush job, but yeah,
roulette perforation.
Yeah,
a Shantry Pro printer. Maybe from Shantry Pro.
Mongkok,
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Sam. That's certainly fascinating. Right. So, anybody got any comments? Further comments? If no more.
Yes, Andrew, can you hear me?
Philip, yes.
Yes, I'm going to try to share my screen, and I'm going to show you something you have not been shown yet, which are the registration label during the Japanese occupation.
Oh, jolly good.
Andrew, could you unshare me, please?
Unshare you? How can I unshare you? You have to unshare yourself. If I unshare you, you'll be. I think you'll be knocked out.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Okay.
Can you see my screen? No.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. What do I do? Share screen?
Yeah, share screen, the green one. Yeah, that's it.
Do you see it?
Yeah.
Got it.
Yeah.
You do?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so can you see the 12 seals there?
Oui.
Yes. So they used during the Japanese occupation some seals, but they use it by a post office. It was not a general one for Hong Kong. So it was the 12 post office which have been used got their own seals, and some got different seals. As you can see, for Hong Kong, there is two different kinds. There is one with only 2 characters, and 2 other with character A and B.
Yeah.
Then the one which are in red is because I had them. Yeah. The one which are in black, I have not seen them. I don't know where they came from. That was extracted from a Ming Tsang book again, and I have no idea where he got those seals. And so you see that, for instance, for Yomati, there is 2 kinds with 2 different wording. One which was taken right after the Kowloon, where they added the Yomati characters, and the other one is a complete wording. And well, you see all 12 seals which have been produced. And they were all red with either black or apparently it was the same seal on which they apply a subsequent overprint with the name of the different post offices.
Wow. Great. Philippe, is the top left one handwritten or?
Yes, it is handwritten.
Oh, it's handwritten. Some are actually like print, right? With a hand chop, a rubber chop.
Yeah. I don't know if there is a chop or not. There is a little 10 on the corner, on the upper corner, and I have no idea of the significance of it.
Fascinating.
And again, the sequence, the number sequence, as Richard said before, it doesn't have any correlation with the date at which they were used. So I don't know how they were using those numbers.
Right. Very interesting.
Okay, that's all I got.
Okay, thank you, Philippe.
Okay, Andrew.
Right. Okay, so Charles.
I'm trying to share my screen first. Okay. Okay, can you guys look at that? Can see?
Yeah.
Okay. Firstly, I start with those things that is quite common as the marking out in circle. That the first page I'm showing will be a government on Her Majesty service register Hong Kong to Macau, used it in 1891, but no registration fee was payable. And this cover was flanked with the postal physical, small postal physical, 2 cents. Paying the local rate, 2 cents for a half ounce letter, which are effective from June 19, 1876. Although struck with a R in circle marking, no payment of the registration fee was evidenced by stamp or else. It got the Royal Certificate. It got the Royal Philatelic Society London certificate for its genius. If it need to pay the registration fee, it will be 5 cents per the rates of postage table of February 1888 and March 1891. That is quite unusual. The second cover that I'm going to show is also a government mail using on Her Majesty's Service envelope sending from Hong Kong to Java in 1893. Also struck with a R in circle registration marking and mark register, but no registration fee was payable. On the cover back, it's struck with the various Netherlands, East Indies arrival marking, and also the wax seal. Can you see that? It is from the General Post Office, Hong Kong. I enlarge it for a bit, therefore you can see clearly. Can see or not?
Mm. Is it oval or is it round?
Oval.
Is it oval shape?
It's oval. You see the shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oval. I don't know the register mail arrangement between the post office and also the other department of the Hong Kong government. If it is solely for the GPO itself, well, it is no need to flank with registration marking. Sorry, a registration fee paying from the left pocket to right pocket. Therefore, there's no registration fee payable. It is my view. Further down will be some interesting things that, well, the stamps cancelled by our in-circle registration marking. The left one can be say it is accidental because there was a Hong Kong CDS under. The 10 cents may be saying that it is maybe also accidental because it is a registration fee effective from February 1880. But it is quite strange to see the 20 cents on 30 cents orange and 50 cents on 48 cents lilac, just with the R in circle marking. No CDS. Is it accidental? I don't think so. And there are 3 recorded use of R in circle cancelling the 1891 Jubilee. The left side is just a park stripe. The middle one, now in on hand of a dealer. Its source is a John Bull auction in 2003. Okay. The right side is now in a collector specialized in 91 Jubilee. This is the only 3 examples I've recorded for this use of R in circle marking on 1891 Jubilee. Come back to the situation why the R in circle appear on stamps. I've found an interesting cover. I don't know whether this cover, it is a 1902 March 3rd registered cover from Swallow to Germany. I mean this one. I mean this one. It is just a copying from a auction catalog. Therefore, there is just this one. Okay. This 5 cents was struck with R in circle alone. No Swallow CDS to cancel it. The R in circle marking is a registration marking, supposedly not for the use of a cancel stamp. Therefore, it is very interesting. And this 5 cents, I believe it is in yellow. It is a 1901 issues, 5 cents yellow. BMW, hang on. Is this cover on your hand?
No.
No? Oh.
No.
That's bad. Therefore, this example shows that, well, it was in that way, some of the post office or postal card is using the R in circle to cancel stamp alone instead of using the CDS. This result in the happening in that way. Reason unknown. Downward, it will be another interesting cover. It is an ordinary letter with the 10 cents purple on red paper, paying the half ounce letter rate, UPU, cancel with the R in circle. And the CDS was in addition side. Don't know why, using it that way. That is a very unusual situation that, well, I think it is I think it will be the only recorded use in that way.
Charles, is this cover in your hand?
Sorry?
Charles, is this cover in your hand?
Yes. You want to bid?
No. Years ago.
Okay. Any question on this cover? Interesting cover?
Well, it's from an interesting correspondence, of course.
Well, R in circle is very common. Registration marking appear on Hong Kong and Treaty Ports registered well. Although for Hong Kong, its inking usually seen was in black. In red will be quite scary. I can say this because it may be using from 1879 to 1883 something. I think it is around 3.5 years in red inking in Hong Kong.
There is, yeah, Charles. I'm a little bit worried whether the stamp belongs.
This one?
Yeah.
This cover?
Yeah. Why should have an R? There's no reason why it should have an R. See, the thing is, to have a forged R on a circle is a piece of cake.
Well, enlarging that.
I can make you one quite easily from a local shop.
Okay.
Any material you can think of. but it's just that it just seems that, you know, one could have obviously, as a doubting Thomas, I mean, you know, one could have thought that the original stamp fell off and somebody stick a stamp on just to make it more interesting, just put something on. There's no reason why there should be an R of a stamp cancelling it. You might as well cancel it with the date stamp.
Yeah, should be in that way.
Yeah.
But don't know why.
The original stamp fell off.
Except your suggestion is a fake.
Possible. I'm not saying definite, but you know, it is possible that you could have lifted off a stamp and put one there and put a fake R chop on it.
Okay.
Well, it's just something just something that I can think of. It's not.
This cover would have come from Amoy, right?
Next time, need to bring the patient to the doctor to have a consultation. Okay.
Yeah.
This cover would have come from Amoy, right?
Yeah, Culbertson.
Yeah.
It's a Culbertson, right? Anyway, it's well, I mean, it's non-conclusive, of course. I mean, you even, I mean, it's hard to tell because I mean, okay, postmark is harder to fake than just a circle, an R in the circle. I mean, you know, you could quite easily do that, especially particularly if it's not clear. But anyhow, just forget it. Let's go on to the next slide.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quick question on that. Is it possible? I mean, I know the AR was paid in cash and wasn't done with stamps. Is it possible that sometimes the registration fee might have been paid in cash to account for some of this?
Doubt it. I think usually,
I mean,
or you need a stamp by this period.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if it was posted in a treaty port, then it's quite possible that anything is possible.
Yes. Yes. Right.
Probably handled by the local constable.
Particularly at the later stage, that is 92. Okay.
Yeah.
No one knows. Okay, I go for. Oh. Okay, this covers a quite famous that just Shanghai oval. Okay, the oval Shanghai registration marking in red. It is quite rare, and I put it here. It's just to remind you guys. It is it is 2020 May auction in Cavendish. I think, well, it may, for treaty ports, I think for Shanghai or else, I think this kind of a registration, oval registration marking may be changed to our in circle around 1879, similarly to Hong Kong. Hong Kong also changed it in 1979. I made a mistake over here. I think so. Okay, Shanghai registration marking, the early one is a very rare item, okay? But this R4, web R4 registration, oval registration Shanghai BPO marking, usually in black. For canceling the register mail in 1904 to 1922. Always seen in black inking, except these two examples in red inking. Although it is park straight, clearly it will be web type R4 registration register Shanghai BPO marking. Probably it may use the wrong inking. I don't know. I can say that maybe accidentally, not consistent.
Looks like a mixed red and black.
Yeah. Yeah. Because usually using the black inking, when you wrongly apply on the red ink pad, it may become a reddish black.
Rusty color. Yeah.
Rusty red, yeah. Rusty brown or rusty red, okay? And up to present, I only see these two examples, okay? For the oval registered King Chow, I think it will be considered as the rarest cancel in the QV period, even rarer than the small King Chow CDS. The original status was recorded in GPO proof book, okay? The right side, small figure you can see. The top one is a small King Chow single ring CDS. The bottom will be the register King Chow day stamp. No use of its original status on cover because no D28 cover is known till present. And in 1883 to 1885, the top registered, the word registered was removed and using it to cancel stamps. And the two examples on the left it will be the 5 cents and 10 cents. And the right rejoin pair was Richard Chen, now in the collection of a doctor's hand. Doctor?
Not this doctor, not Richard.
Not this doctor, okay. It is quite a rarity for using the oval register marking in that way. That is interesting. And
Charles,
yeah.
Sorry. Why would they change C to A?
Usually the index A will be used by the postal agent.
Yeah, agreed. And C was sometimes associated with clerk, right?
I think that's certainly the earlier period. I think later period is probably time. The two just delivery or 2 times when they actually handle the mail. But this is probably agent and clerk at 1884.
Yeah. Especially for mail. So if the registered stamp came out to Kung Chau with the C in it, then they not only deliberately took the registered thing off it, and they changed it to A as a postal, like other treaty ports. Quite interesting.
Was it not? Sorry.
Go on in.
Was it not Tianjin that used the index letters for the day of the week as opposed to the individual clerks? Because I'd always thought that A was reserved for the postmaster, and then the other letters on the cancels were used to identify different clerks, and sometimes reversing them and things like that would determine different clerks during the day and so on and so forth. But that Tianjin, I think it was, they actually used it to identify the day of the week as opposed to the clerk doing the cancellations.
Yes, there were 2 periods in Tianjin when they had the day of the week and the letter together. There was one period when they had A to F, and the Sunday and the Saturday were both letter F. And there was a period when they still had the 6 letters for the 7 days. And so the letter A was the day earlier each successive week. It worked. It took me weeks to sort it out, but it worked.
Yes,
all mine followed that pattern.
Tenzin actually is also very interesting because he's got, if I remember correctly, there are 4 steel date stamps, for a small office. I don't know whether Tenzin is very busy, but there are actually 4 steel hand stamps in use. So why a small office needs so many hand stamps? Date stamps. Just wondering.
Tenzin was a bit of an enigma altogether, I think. Wasn't it? Opened, got closed, opened.
Yeah.
It was run by, at some point, if I remember rightly, by a local mining company.
Yeah.
It was also the only one where the boxed hand stamps were in red as opposed to everywhere else where it was in black.
Yeah.
Although
random is the word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Andrew, don't you have one in black though? Didn't you show a Tianjin registration hand stamp in black sometime?
And sorry, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, one interesting thing is that, why to use this, why to remove the registered word and using it as a date stamp? Because according to Prowl, the small Qingzhou CDS latest record date is March 1881. And the earliest recorded oval Qingzhou type C2 is July 83. Therefore, there will be a gap 82 to 83. It is 1.5 years. It is blank. I don't know when the Hai-Hao small CDS was in use. Earliest day will be 85. Therefore, there will be a large gap between the small Qingzhou CDS and Hai-Hao small CDS in between. So that there will be no other CDS to use than using the obsolete Qingzhou oval date stamp. I don't know. And Qingzhou and Hai-Hao will be two places. Hai-Hao will be a seaport, and Qingzhou will be a little bit inland.
The British Post Office was in Hai-Hao.
Yeah. It changed name from Qingzhou to Hai-Hao. I think in
they were thinking of setting up the consulate in Kyongchau, but when they got there, they found that was pretty useless. And Hai-Hao was less useless. Still pretty useless from what I've read. But it is quite interesting about these 2 different stamps. I think, correct me if I'm wrong, Charles, but Proud seemed to think that there was some kind of sub-office in Kyongchau, but I don't think so. The only office that opened in Kyongchau early on was the Imperial Chinese Post.
Mm-hmm.
Perhaps one of them was used there. I don't know.
I'm thinking whether if this oval Qingzhou date stamp was using in the branch office at Hai-Hao.
No, the main office was in Hai-Hao. That's where the British consulate was. There was never a British consulate in Kyongchau itself.
Mm-hmm.
There was also round about that time is when they actually opened a consulate, British consulate, an actual building, because up until then it was just in a local building converted into a consular place. But I'm just thinking out loud, I wonder whether moving from the old place into the new one could possibly have been a cause for something going missing.
Mm. Okay.
Not sure.
Right.
Okay.
So should we move on?
Yeah, one more page.
Yeah.
One more page with the most arguable things that recently known. It is a swallow with the top registered, removed it on a small piece with flanked with 5 cents pair, cancelled it. Plow type K25, the large type killer, B62 killer. It was confirmed by the buyer that well, the pair of the stem is watermark CC instead of a CA. It is no idea for this swallow oval appear in that way. I think it is first recorded example with RP SL Genius certification, but even signed off by Patrick Pearson in year 2000, just saying that the Genius as far as one can tell for a piece. It is believed it will this swallow oval stem, if genuine, will be an arrival day stem for incoming mail from Hong Kong. I'm just with a speculation that whether if this swallow it was used by swallow sub-office, which opened in 1883, as per the PMG report. Due to the postal facility provided for, the community of swallow have been increased. Therefore, they need to open a sub-office in swallow. Would this oval day stem with the removal with the top word removed it being used in the sub-office in order to short the incoming mail and speeding up the delivery at the merchant place or not? That is still a questionable piece.
Indeed.
That even if the certification of the royal.
Basically hard to certify because as if it is arrival marking is in the wrong place.
Yeah, at the back usually.
Yeah, but this is the place for departure marking. So rather than arrival. So
yeah,
there's one
and
thing.
we have no information that one of the B62 was allocated to swallow. We know we know 62B was allocated to Hankow before, but there was no record for B62 allocated to swallow.
That's right.
No one did that.
They would allocate a different but there enough 62B CDS killer to be allocated to smart. If it were a 62B, I'll be more comfortable that it was just a case of for example, hand count. But it's a very strange piece. Just very hard to say with a piece like that. And
yeah, therefore it is just a questionable.
Yeah.
Item.
I mean, if the oval was genuine, I mean, the B62 could be applied in Hong Kong to cancel the stamps. But however, by 83, I mean, obviously you could actually cancel the stamps with the oval. So it's very strange. Anyways, inconclusive. Anyhow. Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. That's my things. Okay.
Anybody got any questions for this piece?
I want to see you again.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. One larger. One larger one.
All right.
Better viewing.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. I mean, the ink could be different. I mean, with the oval and the B62, because I mean, if my assumption was that the oval was a departure CDS, the B62 could be arrival when the letter arrived in Hong Kong and somebody canceled it. So the ink doesn't have to be the same. No comment really. Okay. So I think Simon has a lot to show. So
okay.
Shall we jump to Simon?
Okay. Well, I'll cut it short. I think we are running out of time.
No, there's no running out of time. we can talk for another 2 hours if you like.
Okay, just a moment. Okay, let me share. Okay. Okay, the first one. In fact, I'm trying to compare the types, similarity of different types of the R in circle. First of all, I don't have many examples of these registered marks. And yeah, I just got randomly 2 covers with the R in black, and then in fact they should be identical when I superimpose the images together. And then when I compare the R in circle in black with the R in circle in red, I found that the red one is a little bit bigger than the one in black. So I suppose, or my preliminary conclusion is that they are of different types. Okay. And then after the R in circle, then is the web type R4 or R8 when they were using in Western branch or Counter branch. Okay, in fact, I found 3 types. The left one, you can see there's more spacing before the Horn of Hong Kong, comparing with the middle and the right one. And the R is a little bit taller than the rest of the other 2. And yeah, it's 1895, so it should be used at GPO. And then the middle one, yeah, you can see that this spacing before Hong is narrower than the one on the left, right? And also this one is was using in Kowloon branch, and you can see the KB truck on the cover. And that's one characteristic of this box marking, which was used in Kowloon branch. Is that usually this register mark, the left frame line is always missing. You can see from a lot of examples of is marked from counter branch. The left frame line is usually missing. And then the third type on the right is that also the spacing before the horn is narrower than the one on the left. I mean the type on the left. But you can see from the year that it is 1901. So this type should not be the same one as the KB type or counter branch type, because in that year, counter branch has its own registration mark already. And therefore, the right one, I'm not sure where it was used, maybe in GPO or maybe at Western branch. In fact, this one I'm not sure, because the sender's address of this cover on the right is Winglock Street, 148. In fact, the address, even at that time or today, was quite near to the Western branch at that time. So yeah, that's my finding. And also, you can see that the left frame line is in comparison with the current type. Okay, so I found 3 of these boxed types. And for the registration labels, yeah, this is the first type, I suppose. And I heard that it's not that common. And then, yeah, this one is nothing special. Just post it for comparison with the types on the next page, which Susan has presented. This is the second another type of the label. And yeah, I just picked out randomly a few registered covers, and I found that they are of different types. They are having different R's, a little bit different in fact. So given the short period of time from August 1903 to December 1904, there were at least 4 types already. So I do not suppose they were used consequentially. In other words, I suppose there should have for registration. So they need more than 1 label at the same time, because there were more than one counters, maybe 2, or maybe 3. So that's why within a short period of time, you can find different types. And that suggestion can be confirmed by the next registration mark, the boxed one. I also found 3 subtypes. In fact, there are subtle differences. The left one, I call it the subtype 1. The spacing before horn, you can see that, yeah, the spacing is having more spacing before the edge of the horn in comparison with the middle and the right one. And then you can see the longer hyphen between the G of horn and the K of Kong. Okay, this is the subtype 1. And then the subtype 2, the spacing between the G of horn and the K of Kong is also larger than the first one. And the hyphen is shorter. And the third one, you can see that the month slot is closer to the year slots. And also the spacing after the Kong is bigger than the other 2. So within, you can see that the middle one and the right one, they are of the same year, October and August of 1909. There are at least 2 types, so 2 subtypes already. And within that few years, they have been using 3 subtypes. So I'm rather sure that they in GPO there should have more than 1 registration counter. And for the R7, Yes, I also found 3 subtypes. And the left one, the first subtype is of a little bit larger size in comparison with the other 2. And there are more spacing after Kong. And the middle one and the right one, you can compare the R, the right leg of the R. The middle one, the leg is like kicking something, called the kicking right leg. And for the right, the third subtype, the right leg is rather straight. Okay, initially the registration numbers were handwritten, but when it was in 1996 a late use of the subtype 3, in fact the registration number were charted there using a number counter. I suppose that counter, could advance automatically. Okay, these are the 2 interesting labels that I can show. The first one, Sam Chiu has shown already, and this is black and white firstly, and secondly, you can notice that the words are normal capitalized words instead of the all caps of basically all other labels or all upcoming labels to the Japanese occupation. The right one is a little bit interesting. It is not a Hong Kong label. It's not a Hong Kong label, but in fact, this is a Hong Kong label. It was used in 1930. And one supplemental point I want to make is that you can see from the labels that usually you can find A or B labels. And you can also find C labels, but comparatively, C labels, the frequency of seeing it is lesser than A or B. So I will guess, or I will suggest the GPO might have 3 counters for registration. And that's the end of my presentation, and thank you for listening. So any questions?
Simon,
yes.
On the King Kong cover,
Hong Kong.
Yeah. An interesting thing about that, from what I can see, but I just wanted to ask you, in order for it to be sent, you had to put your name and address.
Yes.
There doesn't seem to be anything there.
Yes, right.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't know why.
No, I just wondered whether it was just very faint.
No, there's no address there.
Okay, cool.
Okay. If there's no other questions, then I will stop sharing.
Okay. Right. Anybody got anything to show?
Simon, you're creating a lot of work. I have to go back and check everything with your subtypes now.
Yes, please do. And share me your results.
Right. Okay. So
is BM Wong here? I heard that he has prepared something to show. No.
Or is he...
It's too late for him.
Maybe it's too late for him. Okay. well, in any case, if you like to see something, I could actually show you something fairly interesting. Not sure. Right, let me see. Okay, right. Also, I've actually been working on this yesterday. It's about this interesting 62B registered covers. It's actually not really my own research, because I mean Mick Goldsmith and of course Richard Gurvich has done a lot of work on this area. But basically, I just want to summarize what they have found. You seeing this? You seeing the screen?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah, right. Okay, so all of you are very, very familiar with 62B, which is a so-called supplementary cancelled. What does it mean? It means that it is used on special occasions. I think probably by the chief clerk working at the post office, and for some special reasons, some doubts, for some postal material, something really rather quirky, and the normal clerk would say, hey, what's this? And just check it out. And then the chief clerk would just look at it and say, oh, this is okay. And then let me cancel it with my 62B. Okay, so there are 6 impressions of the 62B killer, fairly similar on the in the London GPO proof book, which was sent on January 24th, 1865. And you can actually see Richard Gurvich has done a research of the number of covers, and I think he recorded 59. It's quite common. 59, 60, 61. It is known struck in blue, and one from Hong Kong, which I believe is the earliest, the one to France, which I think it was in the Ishikawa auction. It was wrongly attributed as a registered cover, but in fact it's a 24-cent late fee. And then there are 3 from Hankow. One is obviously the famous one with the 62B, with the 30 cents more with a bit torn off. And the other one was I think was a new find from Germany, German sale. So those and of course the other 3 from Hankow led to the theory that the 62B was Hankow borrows a 62B from Hong Kong before the arrival of the D29. So it was used for special purposes during busy times or unknown to Hankow, etc. And the period of use was 1876, being that was the cover to France, and 1888. So it's pretty long, well, just quite a long time. But if you check out Proud, actually Proud recorded the date of 1895, which is a little bit unusual. No illustration, of course, but it's interesting that it was used at such a late date. And 10 registered covers have been recorded between 1882 and 1885. So I'll show you. Now this is the page of the GPO proof book with the 6 impressions of 62B. And I've identified them as these are the Proud types. But Proud actually believes that these 2 are actually the same. They were struck twice. So actually, he could be right. I mean, they do look very similar. If you look at this one, it's got a very small loop of a 6. This one's got a very big B, And this one, you can see the top of the B and the bottom of the B is a different size. And this one's got a huge B and a small loop of the 6. And then these two are almost identical with a rather fat, rather long tube. So he could well be right. But despite 5 of them sent to Hong Kong, only 3 were used, which is the K31, K32, and K33. The K32 is the one with the small loop of the 6 are mainly found on the registered covers. So if you look at this one, this is believed to be the earliest recorded 62B. Not very clear, but you can see the 6, they're always very small. Probably is K32, it's not, the details not clear enough to see. Then obviously, why is it so special? Because it was sent to Winch Brothers, which everybody knows it's a stamp dealer, right, Richard? Yeah. So there's something special inside, so that's why maybe it was handled differently. Okay, this one's also sent to Winch Brothers of Colchester with the 2 cents. This is in the Ishikawa sale, almost the same date. One's June, one is August, and then for stamps, see the back. There's some stamps on the back, and then. Okay, this one again. This is Pemberton Wilson. Pemberton Wilson. It's a philatelic publisher. This is probably deal with stamps as well. And then it's quite interesting that it's a 12 cent on $10. I mean, the rate is very interesting. I mean, so he's a bit quirky about this one. So it could have been just given to the chief clerk and ask him to sort it out. And then you've got this one. It's an incoming cover. I mean, it is the Hong Kong to Shanghai. It's a local cover. Then sent by private ship. This is a private ship. And then also the same 6 with the same type of 6 with a very small. And then this one, this is probably Proud's cover. I mean, it was in the Alicante sale. Probably is Proud, and this is actually illustrated in his book with the 3 10 cents. Well, being double rate plus registration. And then this one also from Alicante sale with the 20 cents plus 10 cents. And this one is also quite interesting because it's actually sent to its Imperial Japanese Registry Consulate Hong Kong. Is from there to Japan, so might be there's something special about this one. So it was actually given for the chief clerk to handle. Okay, now finally these 3 I haven't actually got pictures of, but I think one of them actually Simon actually showed it is the one to Singapore. Or was it a different one? I mean, Simon had a 10 cent green to Singapore with 62B registered.
Yes, should be, I suppose.
Yeah, it could be this one. It could be this one. Yeah, but yeah. I couldn't find the picture of this one. Yeah.
Yeah. I can show you after your presentation.
Yeah. I think it could be. If you remember the date, October the 14th, 1884. Or yours might be different, but it sounds interesting. It sounds familiar. And then finally, it's absolutely completely nothing to do with 62B. It's this one, registered cover to New Jersey with a 5 cent stamp. and text. Now, how come you can actually send a registered letter with no stamps on, with postage due? I mean, it's a little bit of mystery to me. So for registered letter, I believe that you have to actually hand it over to the registered counter, and then maybe, you know, this is 5 cents. It's a 5 cents. So and no stamps missing on the envelope. But yeah, it was registered. You know, it's correctly registered. It's a double rate. Okay, I believe it's a double rate. It's correctly registered with a number 42, and it's also got a US number on it. So it's treated as a registered cover, and of course it's got a huge amount of 1.25 is a huge amount of money to be collected as postage due. So this is rather interesting, and I'd really like any of you could offer some explanation why something that could take place. Maybe we should.
Andrew, Charles?
Yes.
Maybe the sender want to ensure this important letter arrive the recipient, because it is a tax cover. Therefore, everyone want to share a penalty. Therefore, ensure it is a safe letter, even more safe than registered letter. Right?
So postage due.
Poor Miss Mary Mitchell.
Anyhow, so I think
that's my speculation. Okay.
Yeah. So that's really quite interesting. Anyway.
Maybe the sender was her ex-boyfriend.
There's a lot of penalty, you know, a lot of postage due to be paid. Anyway, so that's the story. Right. So
nice.
If anybody got anything to say?
Andrew, I had a little look in my file, and I've got a couple of things that might interest people who've spoken already.
Okay.
Should I go ahead?
Sure. Why not? Yeah, sure.
Let me see what I can find. All right. This is a list when the labels were being used, first ones. This is a volume of registered items sent from the post office. And you can see here that up to 20,000 letters, or items, I should say, were sent in a month. So each one of those rolls of labels would have had one less than 10,000 in a roll. So that means every month they were going through 20 of these rolls. So quite a huge amount of volume of stuff. That's one thing. And then, let me find. Simon was telling us about the labels, which was very interesting. But taking up his point about number of positions or in the office, then the top one was in an inter-Asia sale, and that's dated the 24th of June 1903. And the one underneath is in my desk. This is dated the 25th of June 1903. They have different labels. Can you see? No.
Can I see, Richard? Can I see?
Yeah, just a second. They're the ones on the left. Can you see them?
No.
No.
Oh, well, I can see them. What can you see? Nothing.
The figures.
The figures. And the,
Not
you
the-
know, the 99 label.
Oh, that's quite strange.
I think you may have to stop the share and then share again, because it's a different file.
Okay.
While you're at it, Richard, do you have any inkling whether at that time the labels were gummed or not?
No, I don't know. Sorry.
Horrible gum you see behind a lot of them.
I would have thought they were actually, because if they were glued, then I think you would see a lot of discoloration on the covers around the labels from aging and so on. And I don't think I've seen that. So my guess is that they were gummed. But
No,
could be totally wrong. Can you see it now?
yes, thank you.
So the ones on the left are two different labels used on the day after each other. I would be delighted if my cover was the first day use, but I don't think so. So that implies that more than one roll of the labels were used, probably at different counters.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then the one on the top right, I'm not sure, I can't see very clearly. But interesting. But I've got quite a lot of these. Yeah. Most of them the common ones. Okay. I thought you'd be interested.
Big system, registered per month.
Yeah. Yeah. That is.
And regarding the number of counters or of the setup of the main lobby of the GPO at Peter Street, in fact, in one article written by a member of the China Philatelic Association, the writer or the contributor, in fact, was a postal clerk during the 50s when he was working in the post GPO. He mentioned that, if I remember correctly, when one walked straight from Peter Street into from the main entrance into the main lobby, then one will be facing the counter selling stamps, and then on the right side, the corner row side, those were the parcel counters. And then on the left side, which is the Dustbill Road side, there were two or three registration counters. I think that's something he mentioned in that article.
I never looked when I was in Hong Kong, but some of you guys are still there. In Kwun Tong, at the Public Records Office, there are the plans of the post office, including the insides. And in these plans, it may very well be that you can see how many. So if somebody has a spare one, once you are allowed, if you have some time, then that might be worth a visit. But have a have a look online first and see what they've got.
Okay, so Sam, you got something you want to say? No? Frank? No? Nick? Harmon, you've been very quiet tonight. Yeah, say something.
Good morning.
Yeah.
You just wanted me to say something.
Yeah, why not?
It's so very interesting to see the detailed work that so many people have done with the registration markings. I've got a lot of work ahead of me to go back through and see what I have on the photocopies to see if I can add anything to Sam's and Ian's work. So I've got some work cut out for me for the next 2 weeks.
Yes. I mean, you've got lots. I mean, I've been through your old files, yeah. You know, but
I should just pull them up and show them then.
I will. Maybe we shall have a second session. But there was lots of it. I mean, you know, there's it will take up the whole evening. Anyhow, so no, I was hoping actually to get somebody to show some sort of modern material, but I think Ingalls maybe he's not here because they're I think even for our, so far we've been actually talking about the early periods, but I think for the modern registered mail, there's still a lot of very interesting things to be shown. So maybe, maybe in future, or I'm not saying next month, that we could have another session on that again. So if nobody's got anything to discuss, I would just like to end the evening by thanking all of you for staying. Well, some of you staying up so late, and some of you I think will be nearly missing your lunch. And then of course again thank you FIAP for sponsoring the talk, our Zoom meeting. I think Dr. Prakop is here. I don't know whether he'd like to say a few words or is he just yes. Or is he just watching? Anyway. Yes. Dr. Prakop, you want to say a few words?
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Dr. Andrew. Good evening, everyone. It was quite interesting, and lots of people were sharing their treasure collections. I learned a lot about the registration marks of the Hong Kong. So hopefully that this kind of presentations can be shared and can be viewed by more people, so that at least, especially those jurors, so we know more about it and can do better in our judging.
Yes.
Thank you very much again, everyone. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dr. Prakop. Have a good evening. Yes. Okay, so all right. Anybody got any last words you want to say?
Andrew, Charles Chen speaking.
Yeah.
Would like to see that registration cover from from Hong Kong to Japan. That it is a government mail.
You want which one? The one I show?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one you show.
All right. Not this one. Let me just see. Let's see. Okay. Share screen. Wait. That's the one. This the one? This one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, it is interesting in 1885. even it is a government, it is on her, is it Hong Kong government?
No, this is Imperial Japanese Majesty, I think.
Oh, it is Imperial. I'm thinking it is on her services envelope, because I'm thinking that my two covers, one is Hong Kong to Macau, and another is from Hong Kong to Java, that the government mail using the OHMS envelope is not subject to payment of the registration fee, but this one need to pay for the 5 cents. 5 cents will be the registration fee, I think. Or 10 cents?
I think 10 cents might be.
10 cents, 10 cents.
10, yeah.
10 cents will be the registration fee and 5 cents will be the postage.
Yeah.
I don't know whether or not all the because I have seen before Surflow OHMS covers to treaty ports also paying the registration fee. Therefore, I have no idea why 1891 and 93, these two covers were free of charge for the registration fee. No idea. Because I cannot see any postal regulations or internal regulations of a GPO that government department posting a register letter is free from charge of the registration fee.
Okay. Right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Because I'm just misreading this OHMS envelope. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a Japanese.
Andrew.
Yes.
Yeah. Andrew, can you please come up 2 slides where you show the 3 John Bull covers that you don't have picture?
Oh yeah.
I'll try to find your picture.
Okay.
If I want to take the number.
All right.
If you don't mind.
Right. I think Simon has one. I don't know. And these are the 3 that I've got.
Okay.
Yes, I got one.
Yeah.
Show me the slide, please.
Yeah, I haven't got it. So this Colchester must be the another Winch brother one. Yes, I think. Simon, you want to share yours?
Oh, okay, sure.
I mean, this could be the missing one. Yeah, this one. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. October the 14th. Yeah. Yeah, this is the one.
Yeah.
This is one of them. Yeah. It was I think a long time ago was John Bull, wasn't it? About 20 years.
I have no idea. Totally.
No, I got the source, but I've never actually seen it. Yeah. I think there's a step. There's a step missing. That's right. That's right.
Yeah. Please let me know if you need an image of.
I certainly do. Yeah, please send me just to complete the record. Yeah.
Okay.
So if anybody got any that Richard hasn't recorded, please send it either to him or to me. I think he'll be very grateful.
All Andrew, right. I've got one last thing from me, if I can share. Susan was saying that she had a latest label of 28th of December 1904, and the first hand stamp was the 18th of January 1905. I think that was right.
It was the 20th of December, but somebody's shown a later one. This afternoon we've seen one for the 27th of December.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let me share this screen. Here's one for 11th of January.
Oh. Oh, well, that narrows it down again, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because the hand stamp I had was the 18th of January.
Yeah.
This is J11, yeah, right. Okay.
I had a quick, I checked it while listening to some of the other guys, and this is definitely January 11, JA 11.
Yeah, yeah.
05.
Yeah. It's one of these so-called like packet letter containing lots of different letters inside.
Yeah.
Sent abroad. Look at the postage you pay. It must be a very heavy cover containing lots of other letters to be redirected.
Yeah.
So
I think Winglock Street and around that area was full of these.
Oh yeah. Just
full
near
of these
my
guys.
office. Yeah, try to look.
Yeah.
For them. They're all gone. All you can. All these places exist. All these places exist, and you go there. There's just a new office block there. Yes.
But that's partly my fault. But I worked there for a few years.
Yeah.
Building Shengwan Station.
Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. Right. Good. So
yeah, is it because it's a packet letter, so that's why it is a piece instead of a
I think so.
copy.
I think it's a
I guess
it's a big packet. Yeah. Yeah. So you just find it as a piece.
Yeah, with all the club mails, usually they use very thin, brownish. So this is like tissue or whatever, but usually
like
it's very flimsy paper. Yeah,
Okay.
to save weight. They rather put a couple more letters in there than for the skin of the thing. So.
So the one actually receiving the receiver was an agent in New York. So he opened it up and then checked all the letters and distributed to different people, probably charging them maybe 10 cents or something each. It's a great way to cheat the post office. Right.
Okay. So there you go.
There you go. Anyway, so
just to add, Andrew, you know what? Dr. Chen said there is actually no leather companies, the private leather companies operating in Hong Kong. He said that. And really? I'm just saying, what?
Oh, wow. It's quite a lot, actually. Yeah. Anyhow, so I mean, for next month's meeting, please think of something and email me, and we'll hold another special theme again. I'm running out of ideas, unfortunately, but you can maybe talk about some weird, some sort of less talked about subjects, maybe like parcels or maybe combination mail or whatever. Yeah. Anyway, so just email me and let me know. Okay, so I can arrange it for next month. Okay, so from from me, it's good night, and I hope you have a very nice day or evening. And remember, if it's your turn to have the vaccination, please do it. Don't miss your appointment.
We've had it.
It's very important if you want to travel. I tell you, I'm sure there will be restrictions in the future that if you haven't had your vaccination, you can't travel. It's just like, I remember it's like something like 40 years ago where we have to carry a little card or booklet to say that you've received a cholera vaccination before you can go anywhere. that was the bad old days. Yes. Okay, so it's good night for me, and if you enjoy the rest of the day and or evening. Okay, Bye-bye. Thank you very much.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.